a country full of mysteries, with very few videos about its life and people. A place where living costs are surprisingly low, but still out of reach for most travelers. A place where the streets almost have no cars, but some of the most handsome traffic police, elegantly and precisely directing traffic. A nation where life is soaked in ancient traditions, from architecture, clothing, to daily habits. Yet this is also a land governed by some of the strictest and most unique laws on the planet. All of this can only be found in North Korea. Let's start a journey to explore life in the most mysterious and closed country in the world in today's travel documentary, located on the Korean peninsula, right next to the wealthy neighboring country South Korea, the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. North Korea is one of the most mysterious countries on Earth, covering about 46,500 square miles, about the size of the U.S. state of Mississippi. North Korea borders China, Russia, and South Korea with a coastline longer than 1,550 miles along the Yellow Sea and the Sea of Japan. Interestingly, although surrounded by water, people here rarely set foot on the sea, let alone travel abroad. While the world is more connected than ever, North Koreans live inside a bubble where things like Google, iPhone, or Starbucks are completely unknown. The climate in North Korea is extremely harsh, with winters so cold they can drop below minus 22 degrees Fahrenheit, minus 30 degrees Celsius, while summers are hot and humid like Florida. Snow covers most of the land in winter, creating stunning landscapes but also causing serious challenges for transportation and farming. Many areas still face frequent power outages, making life very different from busy, bright cities like New York or London. North Korea has a population of about 26 million people, mostly concentrated in the capital, Pyongyang, one of the most carefully planned cities in the world. To live here, you cannot just buy a house or rent an apartment. Only citizens, chosen by the state based on achievements, loyalty, and family background, are allowed to settle in the capital. Sounds surprising, right? But this also makes Pyongyang one of the most refined cities in terms of population. The people here are all Korean and speak Korean as their main language. But interestingly, their language has evolved differently from South Korea's over the past 70 years. Some words and pronunciations seem strange even to modern South Koreans. North Koreans believe that the entire Korean peninsula is one unified country. If you hold a world map in any country, you will see North and South Korea divided into two nations: the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, North Korea, and the Republic of Korea, South Korea. However, North Koreans insist there is only one Korea united. Any map in schools in this country shows the United Nations with the capital as Pyongyang, while people on both sides dream of reunification. But in reality, achieving this is very difficult. North Korea is mostly known through media portrayals, but only when visiting can you gain a true deep insight into this country, where past, present, and future seem to weave together in a way unlike anywhere else on Earth. There is something special about time in North Korea you need to know. If you set foot here, you will not see the year 2025 anywhere. Instead, all calendar signs and even official documents use the Juche calendar, a unique system only in North Korea. North Korea will soon enter year 114 because they do not count years by the Gregorian calendar used by the rest of the world, but instead count from the birth year of Kim Il-sung, the country's founding leader. If you are used to the Gregorian calendar used globally, the North Korean calendar feels like living in a completely different timeline. Most visitors arrive in North Korea by the plane will land at Sunan International Airport and head straight to the capital. Pyongyang has a beauty marked by order, giving a completely different atmosphere. Compared to any city in the world, Pyongyang's beauty is defined by order. and discipline with tall buildings lined up closely together creates a modern look that is not as wild as New York or Tokyo. Hundreds of apartment buildings rise 25 to 35 floors across the city, but notably, many of these buildings have no elevators, forcing residents to climb hundreds of stairs every day. If you live on the 30th floor and walk down every morning to catch the bus, your health will improve a lot, or you might get exhausted. Pyongyang's people rarely use personal vehicles. Instead, they mainly travel by subway, double-decker buses, trams, and taxis. During rush hours from 6:30 a.m. to 9 a.m., and from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m., public transport is always amazingly crowded. Although hundreds of people wait, no one or London. Pyongyang's streets remain clean, clear, and orderly. The only thing still missing on Pyongyang's streets is motorcycles. While in other Asian cities like Bangkok or Hanoi, motorcycles are everywhere. Here you will not see a single one. Below Pyongyang is the deepest subway station in the world, 110 meters underground. This place can also be used as a bomb shelter thanks to its strong structure and steel reinforced doors. Passengers take about 3.5 minutes to ride the escalator from the ground to the station. Being deep underground, this station maintains a stable temperature of 18 degrees Celsius all year round, no matter the weather, making it a popular choice for many locals. There are no busy street food stalls on North Korean streets, but you can find neat small stands where school children and people wearing red scarves gather to buy ice cream and candy. Although there is no widespread internet connection, people still focus on their phone screens, a familiar sight in any city around the world. But here, they only access approved local websites on the streets. You can easily recognize North Korean women by their many modern hairstyles, elegant and stylish outfits, diverse in colors and designs, wearing badges with the images of leaders, Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il, pinned on their chests, wearing high heels and light makeup. It's interesting that if you visit North Korea, you will notice all citizens wear badges featuring their leaders. But don't try to wear one yourself because foreign tourists may face prison if they do, as it goes against Western trends. North Korean women maintain graceful beauty with smooth white skin, bright eyes, shiny black hair, and gentle smiles. Whether you walk along Kim Il-sung Avenue, cross large squares, or go down the world's deepest subway station, you will see groups of women linking arms, chatting lively, or covering their mouths laughing even when rushing to work or moving on. The street. Women keep upright posture, walk confidently, and look proud. They rarely seem rushed, not hurried like in New York or Paris, but instead show a calm, careful style, yet full of confidence. The most striking feature on North Korean streets is the beautiful traffic police. In many countries, traffic police are chosen based on health, skills in handling situations, and legal knowledge. However, in North Korea, to become a female traffic cop, Pyongyang's traffic police are not only managing traffic, but also seen as symbols of the city. They are usually young, tall women who look sharp, wearing neat blue and white uniforms, hats, standing straight at big intersections, directing traffic with strong but graceful, decisive gestures, even though the streets of Pyongyang have very few cars. These female police officers are always present, which is a unique feature of the city. And if you look closely, you will notice another notable sight on North Korean streets is the presence of young people in military uniforms, a familiar and essential image in this country. It is not by chance that they appear so often, because almost every young person over 18 years old must serve in the military for up to 10 years, while women must serve at least until the age of 23. Military service is not just a duty, but also part of daily life, helping to create a highly disciplined and militarized society compared to the United States, where military service is completely voluntary, or South Korea, where it lasts only from 18 to 21 months. This number is quite impressive, with more than 1 million active soldiers and 6 million militia forces. North Korean military personnel are ranked among the largest forces on the planet. And notably, 1 out of every 4 people is connected to the military. You might wonder why there are so few cars on North Korean streets in a country with a population of over 25 million people. You would expect to see millions of vehicles on the roads every day, but in reality, there are only about 30,000 cars operating across North Korea, making it one of the countries with the lowest car ownership rates in the world. The reason is that only government officials and military personnel are allowed to own private cars. Most people travel by bus, subway, or bicycle on the streets of Pyongyang. You can still see luxury car models like Mercedes-Benz or Toyota, although these brands do not have official dealerships in North Korea. Domestic officials are said to favor Mercedes-Benz, and surprisingly, many Vol 144 cars from the 1970s are still on the road because North Korea imports them, but never pays for them. In fact, North Korea is not completely dependent on imported cars. The country has its own car industry with a history dating back to the 1950s. The Sungri car factory once focused on military vehicle production for wartime, later shifting to assembling models inspired by Volkswagen, Mercedes, and many other international brands. However, due to the closed economy, North Korean domestic cars remain largely unknown. Outside the borders, North Korean leaders have the privilege to own any vehicle they want depending on their rank. They can drive any type of car from Audi R8 and Rolls-Royce to Range Rover, some of the most luxurious cars in the world. Especially Kim Jong-un is said to have a rare collection of luxury cars, even though importing cars into North Korea is not a simple economic process. North Korea operates under a centralized planned economy, a rare system still existing in the world today. The state controls everything from production, distribution to consumption. This means that while an American can easily order from Amazon and receive their package within a day, in North Korea, most goods are distributed according to government plans, and owning an imported item like a can of Coca-Cola can be a luxury for ordinary people in North Korea. 3. Essential services, housing, healthcare, and education are provided for free. Also, people do not pay for electricity or water, and their wages are mainly used for food and clothing expenses. Therefore, North Korea is one of the few economies in the world without taxes, which affects living costs in North Korea. Life in North Korea presents a unique economic context very different from Western countries. The average monthly living cost is about $1,597, about 32% lower than in the United States. Housing is significantly more affordable, with average rent nearly 79.9% lower than in the United States. A furnished 45 square meter studio in a standard area costs about 900,000 North Korean won per month, although exact conversion to US dollars is difficult. Due to limited exchange rate information, utility bills including heating, electricity, and gas for 2 people in an 85 square meter apartment can reach about 120,000 won. The average monthly food price is 26.4% lower than in the United States. Although detailed prices for each grocery item are still scarce, public transportation is the main means of travel, with costs significantly lower than Western countries. But exact data is not easy to obtain. Additional costs such as gym membership fees and dental care are very hard to estimate due to the country's tightly controlled economy and limited commercial services. While living costs in North Korea are lower than in the United States, the limited availability of financial data and the closed nature of the economy make precise determination difficult. Comparing these costs is quite challenging. In your mind, would you choose this place to settle down? If yes, choose one. If not, please share your answer in the comments. In Pyongyang, you can also explore large architectural works with global significance. One of the most impressive destinations is the Rungnado Mayday Stadium, the largest stadium in the world with a capacity of up to 150,000 people, built in 1989. This stadium is not just a venue for soccer matches, but also hosts mass games, a spectacular event in North Korea with tens of thousands of participants. It is one of the most impressive synchronized performances on the planet, showing the unity and strength of the country. Pyongyang is also home to the Ryugyong Hotel, one of the most uniquely iconic buildings in the world, shaped like a pyramid and very tall. This building held the title of the tallest hotel in the world for 20 years. It was designed to have more than 7,600 rooms and a revolving restaurant at the top. Ryugyong is an ambitious project reflecting North Korea's vision. Although not yet fully operational, this building remains one of the most special architectural highlights in Pyongyang. Also, along the Taedong River, Kim Il-sung Square is the largest square in North Korea, South Korea, and the 16th largest in the world, with an area of 75,000 square meters, holding up to 100,000 people. It hosts major parades and is a central place for many important national events. Opposite the square is the Juche Tower, one of Pyongyang's most prominent symbols, representing the country's political philosophy. As night falls over Pyongyang, the dawn is a mysterious and different beauty on its wide streets, with flickering streetlights creating fascinating patches of light and shadow. People keep moving, life goes on, but everything seems wrapped in a rare, calm, and peaceful atmosphere, not often seen in other capitals around the world. High-rise buildings limit electricity use, showing only scattered lit windows, creating a scene both nostalgic and mysterious. Most festivals in North Korea take place in Pyongyang, featuring large performances rich in national identity. One of the most unique celebrations in the world is the Day of the Sun on April 15th, to honor the birthday of the late President Kim Il-sung. It is not just a holiday, but a major national event with military parades, brilliant fireworks, and the largest synchronized performances on the planet with tens of thousands of people. Performers take the stage simultaneously in the stadium. Also, the Arirang Mass Games are recorded in the Guinness World Records as the largest collective performance in the world, with over 100,000 dancers, athletes, and performers, especially highlighted by a vivid mural created by tens of thousands of students, turning the entire stadium into a giant picture continuously changing with every movement. Besides national events, North Korea also holds traditional cultural festivals like Lunar New Year and the Lantern Festival, where people release hundreds of lanterns light up the sky, creating a rare and picture-perfect scene. Korean cuisine will also leave a lasting impression on you. One special aspect of Korean food is the perfect balance between spicy, salty, sour, and sweet flavors that create unforgettable dining experiences. If you have ever heard of kimchi, the world-famous fermented pickled dish, you will be even more surprised to learn that Korea proudly has hundreds of different types of kimchi. Each region has its own unique recipe, making it a must-try dish. A specialty for visitors is cold noodles, called naengmyeon. This traditional dish dates back to the Joseon era and is usually served in a bowl of chilled beef broth with cucumber, boiled egg, and sliced beef. Compared to Japanese ramen or Italian spaghetti, Korean cold noodles offer a completely different experience with light flavors and chewy buckwheat noodles, especially Taedonggang beer, a proud Korean brew, considered one of the best beers in East Asia, made at a brewery using technology imported from England. Taedonggang has a rich flavor, rivaling high-end craft beers from Europe. If you get the chance, you should Enjoy a cold beer with bulgogi, one of the most delicious and flavorful dishes in Korea. To fully enjoy your journey exploring Korea, you need to keep these rules in mind. Tourists are not allowed to use local money, while many countries prefer visitors use local currency. Korea is not one of those, even though there is a local currency. Foreign tourists must use one of three currencies: euro, United States dollar, or Chinese yuan, with euro preferred. It is important to note that taking money out of Korea is illegal. Don't be surprised if locals act cold, silent, or even avoid you. This is not because they are unfriendly, but because interacting with foreigners is a very sensitive issue in Korea. While there is no law punishing citizens for talking, to tourists, tight government control makes most people hesitant to engage. If you try to start a conversation or take a photo of someone, they may quickly walk away to avoid trouble. Another special point is, tourists cannot freely take photos of everything as they wish. Tour guides always accompany you and have the right to stop you from taking pictures if the content is considered sensitive. Old bridges, unfinished structures, or even scenes of people lining up outside stores may be banned from photography. Especially anything related to the military is strictly forbidden to film or photograph, including statues of the two leaders Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il. Tourists must take photos of the entire statue without cropping and must not photograph it from behind to show respect. It is estimated that Korea has about 34,000 statues of the late leader Kim Il-sung, meaning there is one statue every 2 miles or so. Therefore, if you have the chance to visit Korea, remember that your camera is not always welcomed like in other tourist spots around the world. After hearing all this, you might be thinking of planning a trip to Korea or retiring there to explore the mysteries of this country. Don't forget to prepare documents and visa applications. To travel to Korea, tourists can only enter from Russia or China. These are the countries where you can apply for a Korean visa. Some cities in China have flights to Korea, but the fastest route is still from Beijing. In Russia, tourists can only fly from Vladivostok, a rather isolated city. Also, if you want to enjoy beautiful scenery along the way, you can choose to take the train from Beijing. The visa application process for Korea requires careful planning, especially for us and European tourists. United States citizens traveling to, especially for us and European travelers. United States citizens coming to North Korea have faced many restrictions since 2017. The United States Department of State has enforced a travel ban, making United States passports invalid to enter or pass through North Korea without special permission, which is rarely granted. On the other hand, European citizens have a simpler process but are still controlled. Independent travel is usually not allowed. Tourists must join organized tours through approved travel companies. Visa applications often require a completed form, a passport-sized photo, and a copy of the passport. Processing times can vary, but you should apply at least 1.5 months before the planned departure date. It is important to note that North Korea does not have specific visas for people wanting to retire there. The country's visa policy mainly focuses on short-term tourism or official business with strict rules and supervision. Potential travelers should research carefully and follow all requirements, keeping in mind that policies can change and diplomatic relations may affect travel rights. We have explored life together in North Korea. Thank you for watching this full travel documentary introducing life in North Korea. We hope you will continue to join us on our next world discovery journeys. See you again.